Okay guys, we are nearly there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, before we assemble the base, we're going to create the MDF baseboard to fit into these slots. Just going back to my 2D design drawing. So we know that this is the MDF baseboard, and we know that the baseboard goes in to the timber, the 12mm timber, halfway, so effectively 6mm from this edge and 6mm from this edge. Okay, so if this is 100mm in total, it's 6mm shorter there, 6mm shorter there, which gives us 88mm from here to there, and the same in the other direction. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to SketchUp. I'm going to zoom out and pan. I'm going to draw my square, and I'm going to draw this 88mm, comma 88mm. I'm then going to use push pull tool, click and drag up 3mm. There we go. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to orbit around, select just that square, and group it. Okay. Now comes quite a complicated. Well, it's not complicated. It's quite difficult to do. It can be quite tricky and can be quite frustrating for some students moving this around, because it can be quite tedious, I guess would be the word. So we're going to start moving, combine these shapes together now, and we're going to use this tool here, the move tool. Okay. Now if you click an object, again you can move it around. The problem with this type of program is that it works in 3 dimensions. So sometimes you think you're moving something up, and when you orbit around, you find you've been moving it back into the distance. Okay. So it just comes with experience, and it comes with patience. So please do bear with it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to attach this baseboard into one of my male fixings. Okay, so I'm going to click and move it over. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't really want to go where I want it to go, so I'm going to put it roughly in position. Then I'm going to zoom in. Okay, the best way to attach things in Google SketchUp is to attach corners to corners, because corners snap to corners. Okay, so I'm going to pick the object up at this top left hand corner, and I'm going to try to drop it at this corner here. You should find it snaps into place. Okay, I'm going to warp it around, and then I can use the move tool to push it over. The limitation of Google SketchUp is the kind of assembling of an item. Okay, so you're going to have to bear with that. Okay, so the first part of my base is done. What I'm going to do now is pick up one of the female fixings and attach it. So I'm going to go to the move tool and pick the object up. Okay, now clearly at the moment it's at the wrong angle. So what I'm going to do now is orbit. I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to hover on the top surface. And what you should see when you hover on the surface are these little red crosses that appear. They're kind of rotation points. So if I go on the top surface and I hover over one of those rotation points, you should see a protractor appear. If I click on that and move around, it allows me to move it into the correct angle. Once it's in the correct angle, I can then repeat the previous process. Just going to move it around to a suitable angle. I'm going to try and join this corner to that corner. There we go. Dead easy. So because we've got two in situ now, you can see that the joints coming up. There's a millimeter tolerance just here. I'm going to use this move tool, rotate it around 180 degrees. Oh, try that again. Excuse me. Again, try to find the corners that are going to match up. So this corner to that corner. Let me show you that in a bit more detail. I know this corner needs to line up with that one, so should snap. Brilliant. There we go. Brilliant. Okay guys, there is your assembled base. And if you look at it from underneath, you should remember from one of the product analysis, this is what one of the bases looked like. Okay, looks much neater that way than it would do if the MDF was kind of stuck on the base there. Okay guys, get to that stage and we're almost done.